Maniacs, it's time for another spooky video. And for tonight's spooky video, I'm going to be telling you guys a spooky Valentine story that I myself wrote. I was gonna do one that someone else wrote, but to be honest, I just couldn't find any that were really scary. And this one's not the greatest, but I tried. And my story is called A Match Made in Hell. Mandy was a shy, awkward loner who didn't have many friends growing up. Even in her adult life, she barely had anyone to turn to. She was never the confident type. She wore glasses, her hair was frizzy, and she was a little chubby. She felt as if no one wanted anything to do with her. She lived on her own in a house out in the woods on the outskirts of town. She had family, but they were miles away. It was nearing Valentine's Day, and Mandy began spending most of her nights alone with Netflix and a bottle of wine. She was growing very tired of this lifestyle and really wanted something to call her own, someone to be there for her. It all felt like a distant dream. One night, she grabbed her phone and decided to download a dating app. She thought nothing of it at first. I'll probably just be messaged by a few guys wanting to hook up. None of them will be looking for anything serious, she thought to herself. Soon, she would match with someone. This man was everything she looked for in a partner. It almost felt too good to be true. Roger was a local and was into the same things Mandy was into. She couldn't believe her eyes when she finally met a match. Someone was actually interested in her. Excited, they planned a date night on Valentine's Day, which was only a day away, at the local pizzeria in town. However, she couldn't shake the feeling that something terrible was going to happen. The next day came. Mandy spent all day and night trying to find the perfect outfit. When V-Day came, she spent the whole morning pampering herself, curling her hair and putting on makeup, even though she wasn't very good at it. She wanted to look nice. Soon, she would hear an engine in her backyard and a car door shut. She peeked out her blinds, and a tall young man was walking towards her front door. She nervously shook off her anxiety and slowly opened the door. "Hello, I'm Roger. Nice to meet you." The man introduced himself, holding out his hand for her to grab. She grabbed his hand and shook it. "Mandy, it's nice to meet you too." The man gave her a subtle smile. She grabbed her purse off the hook. They got into his car and drove off. The night went well, and they both seemed to really enjoy their date. That feeling Mandy had in her gut just wouldn't go away. It felt as if something terrible was around the corner. A feeling of foreboding doom. She tried to shake it off and stay positive though. The date went well. The man was really nice. He was her dream guy after all. When the date had ended, Roger handed Mandy a box of chocolates. "Happy Valentine's Day." He smiled at her as he got into his car and slowly drove away. Mandy smiled and walked into her house, shutting the door behind her. She was so smitten over the night she had that she had forgot to latch and lock her door. Mandy sat the chocolates on her nightstand and would soon go to bed. It was around 2 in the morning when she would be awakened to a loud banging sound on the side of her house. She lived in the woods and nothing surrounded her but trees. She figured it was just a wild animal on her porch getting into her trash. She got up and walked to her window, peering out of it. There, in her backyard and next to the trees, stood the silhouette of a tall man. You couldn't see his face. Mandy rubbed her eyes and thought she was dreaming. She walked back over to her bed and tried to fall back to sleep, but was unable to. The feeling she had earlier in the night was still there, and it had grown worse. What if she wasn't dreaming? What if there really was a man standing in her backyard? Who would come to save her? Everyone lived miles away from where she was. She sighed and rolled over, turning on her bedside lamp. She noticed the box of chocolates the man had given her and picked it up. She unwrapped the box and slowly opened the lid. She figured maybe if she ate something, it would get her mind off of things and help her sleep. But she was wrong. Mandy opened the lid and would be met with a horrifying sight. Instead of chocolates, the man had placed a bloody heart inside of the box. She screamed, throwing the box on the floor and reaching for her phone to dial 911. Her phone was dead. Suddenly, she would hear creaking of footsteps through her hallway, and the same man who was in her backyard was now standing in her doorway. He gave her a subtle smile. She was stricken with fear and unable to move. Happy Valentine's Day, Mandy. The voice was now recognizable, and she realized it was the man she had gone on a date with hours earlier. The next day, when Mandy's parents couldn't reach her, they grew worried sick. Her mom decided it was time they went and checked on her, even if they were out of town. She didn't care how far they had to drive. Hours passed by and they finally made it to her house. They pulled in the driveway. Everything was so quiet. This didn't seem like her, as she always had her TV going or music playing. Her mom knocked on the door. "Mandy, it's Mom. Are you okay?" She heard nothing and seen no one. "Mandy, it's Mom. Answer me," she said again in a more worried tone. Still, she heard nothing and seen no one. She tried the doorknob and the door flew open. The house was still nice and neat, but there was no sign of Mandy anywhere. Her mother would walk from room to room, calling out to her with no response, her being nowhere in sight. But there was one room she hadn't checked yet. Mandy's bedroom. The door was slightly cracked open, just enough to see the bedside light peering through. Her mom, scared to see what was on the other side, slowly edged the door open. And what she found was horrifying. Lying there in a pool of her own blood, with her chest ripped open and her heart laying beside her, was Mandy. She had a terrified look etched on her face, her eyes dark as if she knew something bad was about to happen. On the wall, written in blood, were the words, "Happy Valentine's Day, Mandy." So there was my little Valentine's Day story. What do you guys think? I really enjoy writing these stories for you guys because sometimes I can't find ones that I think are really like spooky or like give me that little creep. But what do you guys think, and would you like to see more videos like this? Let me know. I don't know if I'm posting this on Valentine's Day or if I'm posting it a little bit before Valentine's Day, but either way, happy Valentine's Day to anyone who is watching. I hope you have an amazing one. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you did, please give me a big ol' thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Become a morbid maniac. Also be sure to hit that bell notification, that way you get notified every single time I upload a new video. And I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next one.